Hi, my name's Ash and this is Crack Minis. Today, I've got something special for you. I'm back on the Robo Rebels and I've got a new idea. It's similar to the clankers, but I want it to fly. Yeah, jetpacks. Let's go. Okay, let's break down the parts I'm going to be using. First off, I've got some clanker bodies. These are leftover bits from the episode I made about the clankers. I thought they'd give me a good base, and it meant that I didn't have to spend a lot of time coming up with a new body type on the fly. Then I've got some barrels, some wings, some propellers, all just useful stuff that I'm going to jam together to make these bad boys. Let's start off with the jetpack. So, for the jetpack, I used the barrel. Then I stuck a googly eye over the holy bit. These are like mock Lego barrels, by the way. You can find them anywhere. I saw them on an advert for Temu and bought them off eBay. You know, because it's safer. Once the googly eye was on, I stuck a propeller on there. Now, I got a bunch of these from different model kits, but most of them come from Meng. I think it was like a bomber or something like that. Like a Meng bomber. Yeah. One of them's different. Although I did have a bunch originally, I decided to keep them kind of uniform. All the barrels had this little thing on the end like a cap, and I wanted to cut them off, and being the clever me that I am, I decided to saw them off using my Dremel. So once I lost that one, I decided to switch it up and go back to the pliers and just snipped them off. They come off really easy with the pliers, to be fair. Then I stuck on the caps of some paint tubes for the exhaust of the jet. I want these to look like proper smoke spewers, so I wanted the exhaust to be nice and chunky. Same with the wings. Just cut up some chunks of plastic wing from a bunch of different Airfix models and glued them in place. Again, I just want them to look cobbled together, sort of like the clankers were. When I glue these wings on, I may as well talk a little bit about the whirlygigs. Now, a whirlygig is a garden ornament. Well, it is, but it's also one of these. And one of these is like one level above the clankers in hierarchy of the Robo Rebel army. So I'm building this ladder in reverse. No. If you were building a ladder, you'd start at the bottom and work your way up. So I'm building this ladder the right way. Oh, I might as well talk about the body just real quick while it's on the screen. Anyway, so for the Robo Rebel army, I wanted to keep them uniform as possible. So I started using a kinetic toy that I cut the end off. Just glued a bunch of beads on it. That's going to be the basis for most of the body types for the units. The really basic units in the Robo Rebel army. As you get up towards the general rank, generals and officers, they get a bit more complicated. So I wanted to keep them as simple as I can for the basic troops, so I can do more than one at a time. Yeah, that's what I use. Kinetic toy, couple beads, wire going through it for the arms, bit EVA foam over the body piece, and then a head on the top. Real simple. The only thing you really need to change is the arm and leg length, depending on the units. Like these ones, I kept them slightly smaller, but that's just because I wanted them to be able to fly. For the arms and legs on these, I used perler beads. Now, perler beads are those ones that you put down onto a mat and then iron, and they'll stick together. So they don't glue together well, not super well at first. You apply a little bit of heat, but not too much, obviously, because they melt. That's the whole point of them. They will stick. Maybe a little bit of sand in as well, just for safety. I always laugh at myself when I watch these back, because I'm not very good at doing the whole tutorial thing. I think it's because I lack confidence in my own abilities. But yeah, I don't know how other YouTubers do it. They like waffle, throw out some pure rubbish, act like they know exactly what they're talking about. But I can't do it. I can't lie to you, I don't know whether half of this is going to work while I'm doing it. The fact that most of it does work boggles my mind. It's like what's on the screen now. I was like, how am I going to make these look like they're flying? And I had this little toy bomb. I was like, yeah. So if I stick a wire into the bomb and the bomb goes into the base, I probably shouldn't say bomb so much just in case this gets flagged. So the rocket So I put a wire into the base, and then I put the rocket onto the wire. Then I put the model using the wires in its arms onto the rocket to make it look like it's flying. Now, I didn't actually think that was going to work because I didn't think the wire was going to be strong enough, but somehow, magically, it did work. And I'm looking at it now, finished, painted, and it looks alright. I didn't think it was going to work. I just did it. Anyway, that's enough about that. What I did next was I glued the faces on. Obviously less the eyes, because they come on later. These are just made out of cut-up pens. Just stick them on the bead that is the head, and there you go, face. Then it comes to the EVA, which I used as armour. Now, because I wanted them to look different than the clankers, but also the same, sort of, I focused on armouring the upper body, because it made more sense to me. Like, if they're going to be flying at something, they only really need that top half heavily armoured, and obviously more dense. Just, you know, in case it decides to crash head first into something, I want them to be able to survive it. Now it's time for the rivets. The rivets I put them all over the place, because I could. And then while I was putting the rivets, I was thinking about the eyes. Now, the clankers have 2 eyes. Most of my robots have 2 eyes. Well, one of them has 1 eye. You've seen that in my Big Bot Bash episode. And that was a lot of fun. Trying something new, something different. Give me an idea for the Robo Rebels as a whole. Other than, obviously, that tank that I made beforehand for the game that I made. Oh, if anyone's been waiting for the stop motion video for that, I've been filming it every so often, trying to work out what I'm doing. And I just don't have a space big enough for the game board to film. An open enough area that I could film the whole thing. Which is why it hasn't come out. But I've had an idea for another game. It's smaller in scale, so I might be doing something on that soon. It depends. If I've got the time, because I just don't have the time for anything at the moment. Like, not that long ago, I wrote out a skirmish game while sat on a train, a 40-minute train ride, including pictures and everything. And I finally got like a playtest a couple of weeks ago, probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I made it way too killy, and I need to rework the combat system to give it, because I had like an advantage disadvantage system in there, and it's not working. Also, I don't know like who to ask to help, because yeah, that's the thing. Like, I'm stuck, but who do I ask to help me? Because how many other people do I know that actually make games? I might have an idea of what works and what doesn't. Okay, so if you know of anyone, let me know in the comments down below. I'd greatly appreciate the help. Yeah, it's time to paint these. So I'm going to tell you a story. I've been sort of like practicing with my writing. I feel like I'm getting a little bit better. But for this story, I went a little bit different. I've been writing the stories from the character's perspective, and in this one, the particular character is a 9-year-old girl. I was weird writing it, but I wrote it. You're going to listen to it, or not? It's up to you. So YouTube works. All right. Okay, we ready? Let's go. The sky fell on Outpost 9. The windmills never stopped turning. That's what her brother always said. As long as the turbines spun, the lights stayed on in the colonies. Power for domes and water pumps. Heat for outer rings. Even the cities far off and hazy on the satellite maps owed something to the slow creaking blades of Outpost 9. But to Alicia, they were just giants. Every day since she could remember, they groaned in the same slow rhythm. Hundreds of them, scattered across the flats like rusting statues. Their long arms cut across the sky in arching circles, swaying even when the wind barely blew. They were patched with scrap metal, others tied together with shipping cable. A few had entire panels missing, exposing their ribs. But they spun, always spun. Outpost 9 wasn't much more than a scrap-built town, squatting in their shadow. A few storage domes, a battered launch tower, rows of prefab housing crusted with dust. It stank of copper, sweat and burned protein. But it was home. She sat on the lip of a concrete service ledge beneath Turbine 4, dragging her toy crawler through the dirt. Bits of old circuit board for armour, pipe treads. She'd built it herself after her mother stopped coming back from the Northern Relay. Midday suns hung overhead like two angry gods. Even the shadows seemed to sweat. The adults were out. Half the local militia had just returned from a park run to Junction 3. The turbines needed blade bearings, and the converter banks were fouling again. Alicia had heard them arguing last night, words like overdraw, and if the coax audits us again. She didn't understand most of it, so she played, and watched the windmills and counted. Then the wind shifted. At first it was just a smell, not that sharp, clean burn of turbine coolant, not the warm hum of sun-baked circuits. No, this was something else. The wind carried it low and slow, acrid and dirty, like hot battery acid, mixed with scorched feathers. It clung to the back of her throat like ash. Her crawler stopped in her hand. Then she heard it. Not the steady thrum of Outpost 9's machines, something thinner, higher, a whine, insect-like, wrong. She shaded her eyes. The suns blazed overhead, nearly white. The windmills cut slow shadows across the ground. And then, above them something moved. Shapes, dark, circling. 5 at first, drifting between the clouds like specks of soot. But they weren't drifting, they were turning, slowly watching, wings jagged, mismatched slabs of scrap, shimmering with heat and soot. Some flapped like birds, others twisted mechanically with each gust. Bodies thin and long like scarecrows, strapped to jet engines, faces replaced with sensor rigs and oxidized armor plates. From below they looked hungry. They didn't scream, not yet. They circled, tightening their spiral. Engines coughing black smoke that bled into the sky like ink in water. A hand grabbed her. "Hey kid, Alicia, right? Get down." It was Sergeant Hawks, back from the supply run, armour half off, sweat soaked. He pulled her behind a collapsed turbine hub. "Whirlygigs," he muttered. "Goddamn buzzards." The first one dropped in with a shriek. The sound of torn metal and overstrained turbines. Engine sputtered. It coughed flame, then screamed to life as it skimmed the rooftops, black smoke trailing behind. A second followed, then a third, wobbling, correcting, always twitching, like vultures mid-feast. And then their voices. "Target located. Power relay marked. Detonate, detonate, detonate. Scrap and ascend." The militia opened fire. Shooting short, panic burst into the sky. A whirligig dropped low, telling Hawks, snatching a soldier from the gantry. In one fluid, hideous arc. Another strafed the barracks, dropping crude bomblets that punched through steel and rubbed it into flame. The air smelled of ozone and cooked plastic. She didn't know how long the battle lasted. Minutes, maybe? Or hours, stretched thin by fear. The sky had turned black with smoke. The wind carried fire now. One of the turbines had stopped turning. She stayed low, clutching her toy crawler, its armour blackened with soot. From her hiding place beneath the cracked turbine hub, Alicia waited and watched and remembered. Because even if Outpost 9 stood tomorrow, today had already fallen. So there you go, the whirlygigs. I might play around with the design of these at a later date, but as of now I'm really happy with how they've come out. Obviously because they're one step above the clankers, I kept quite a few elements from them and obviously added extras to it, and the colouring as well. So I kept the red and green for the Robo Rebels over the jetpacks, and then the rest is all just mismatched except for the blue, which signifies the sky. Yeah, so if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Thank you to everyone who already has subscribed. Don't forget, I am looking for someone to help me with that skirmish game because I just lost, and then obviously I've got the other one that I'm working on as well. Hopefully I'll give you some more updates on them soon, and yeah, enjoy the spinny bit and have yourself a good night.